Hello, one and all. Welcome back to another edition of the AGPC, Average Guy's Guide to Life podcast, hashtag AGPC. We are waterboarding the internet, one episode at a time. Don't know why I said it like that. Welcome back. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, do all of that good stuff to support me. If you enjoy this content, you enjoy what I do here. By I mean me. By me, I mean Chris. By Chris, I mean Era. By Era, I mean Dirty. By Dirty, I mean Lil Chris. By Lil Chris, I mean Beta Bug. By Beta Bug, I mean Bartholomew. Now you know all of my aliases. One short of fucking basketball team. Do all of that good stuff. If you enjoy my content, if I make you feel any sort of way, please I appreciate the support. And we're going to jump right into this podcast by discussing something that I don't think I have, but maybe I have. I'm not sure. I don't even know what number episode this is. But conspiracy theories and theories in general, I don't find them to be as absurd as most people would. Some of them are pretty absurd. Flat Earth, that's pretty dumb. I think I was talking about the unicorn in a previous episode. I'm not even sure that's a conspiracy theory at this point. I just think that that's a very bad analogy for finding a very rare person. As I said, if you want to find a rare thing, it should be something that actually fucking exists. You know, a black Republican. I don't know. What is something that doesn't exist? A good female driver. Something like that. You know? A comedian that doesn't have a podcast. It should be like a snow leopard. It should not be a unicorn. What's another conspiracy theory that's pretty bonkers, right? Lizard people. I don't think that one's that believable. Anything that has to do with like a mythical creature, I think those are pretty absurd. Like Loch Ness Monster, Sasquatch, Bigfoot. I think that's the same thing. The snowman. I never know how to say the first... The abominable snowman, incredible snowman, that thing. It's like Bigfoot, but white, doesn't exist. God, that's another one. You know, Christianity, that's like the biggest conspiracy theory there is. The Bible, you know, Jewish people. I've never seen one of those. Although I have seen Seinfeld. I've seen Curb Your Enthusiasm. I know the voice that they make. You know, they're supposed to be very stingy people. I've never seen any of these Jewish folks. They're supposed to exist. You know, I've never seen an Asian woman that actually wanted to date a black dude. That's like a unicorn. But I know they exist. They're somewhere. Tiger Woods exists. So they're somewhere out there putting their hog in some orange chicken, if you know what I'm talking about. What conspiracy theories? I don't think the Bible's a conspiracy theory. I just think it's a huge misunderstanding. The Bible is just one giant misunderstanding. Everyone just put their own 2 cents in it, and next thing you know, thousands of years later, it's the Bible. And there's some dude, white dude, by the way, from Africa, some African white man, something else that's, I think, would be a unicorn. And we're not talking about like South African people who migrated there or whatever. I'm talking about back when it was just niggas, just a bunch of black motherfuckers, and this one white dude showed up. It was like, hey, ha, watch me turn your fucking, you know, your your rainwater in this muddy puddle over here. You can't drink it? Watch this. Boom. Wine, bitch. Watch me. Hey, niggas. Hey, all you black people. Watch this white man walk on water. Oh, my Lord, he walked on water. I don't know what language they speak back in the day. Hebrew. Niggas out there speaking Hebrew. Holy shit. That's another unicorn. You don't see a nigga speaking Hebrew anymore. I don't even think a nigga knows what Hebrew is anymore. Or did they speak Aramaic? I don't know. But it's something that I think was a giant misunderstanding. It was a book that was meant to help people along in life, give them some insight on what they can and cannot do. You know, life lessons. And now all of a sudden, let's throw some miracles in there. You got to spice this shit up if you want it to sell. Have a man live in the mouth of a whale. That'll sell some shit. Have another person with a different gender get created by a bone. Let's just throw... We're going to take one of your bones, Adam. We're going to take one of your bones and make another person. It just got out of hand, you know. People with these active imaginations that didn't have anything better to do. They didn't want to stand around campfires anymore telling these stories to their fucking buddies, you know. So they had to make some shit up. Now, personally, I don't know what's what. You know, I'm alive, just like you're alive, listening to this podcast. I'm not sure where we go when we die. Maybe we just get buried. Why am I being so morbid? Fuck it. I'm already on the path now, so I have no idea where we go when we die. You were probably looking for that answer. That's why you clicked on this video. You're like, oh, finally, someone's going to tell me, you know, what happens. And now you're very disappointed because I don't know shit. I'm just going to tell you what you already know, or, you know, I can be like the Bible and make some shit up, you know. I can be like one of those kooks. I can claim I'm a medium. I can talk to your long lost dead great aunt and tell anyone. I could tell you where she buried her treasure or whatever the fuck, but, you know, you're not going to believe me. And if you did, what the fuck are you? You know, you believe anything, huh? You believe a pretty bitch won't be lying to you. Call back. Have to be listening to the podcast on a regular to get that reference. But I don't know what happens. I am alive and above ground just like you are. So I don't know if we go into dirt and we just stay there. I don't know if it just shuts off. I don't know if there is a heaven or a hell or in-between space. Maybe we just float around like spirits. Maybe we get reincarnated. You know, as like a fucking, I don't know, a pickle or, you know, a cricket. Maybe we don't get reincarnated. Maybe we just live our lives as we are again. And we keep living it over and over and over again until we finally get it right. And then what happens when we get it right? You know? Then do we go to heaven? Or then do we have to fucking live it again and get it even more right? No fucking idea. I don't know. But I'm not a skeptic. That's why I say I believe in conspiracy theories, just not the dumb ones. So I don't want to say religion is a conspiracy theory. I don't want to say that. You know, usually when people's voice gets high like this, there's a but coming. And there is a but coming. So the but is, I believe that there are things that we can't explain. Okay? But if there is religion, it has a lot of explaining to do. Because some of the shit just don't make no sense. And I'm speaking from experience here. Very loose experience. Very, very, very loose. But I'm going to talk about it anyway. I used to live above a church. A church on Madison and Cicero. If you're from Chicago, you know where that is. That is right where the whores used to sell their bodies. on Cicero. We used to call them Cicero hoes. And it was across the street from this, I guess, grocery store, but more so giant butcher shop called Moo and Oink. So I used to live right across the street from the Moo and Oink, above a church called Community Fellowship. I didn't want to be there. Didn't even know, just like most of the times I've moved in my life. I've moved over 20 times in my entire life, if you can believe that. Shit. And during my youth, when we moved, it was just a surprise. It was never once like, hey, prepare yourself in a couple months. We're going to be moving to this place. You know, all you white motherfuckers out there with your planning and your excitement about moving to the country or moving to a condo or a bigger spot. Nah, this shit was just sprung on us. We would just have to pack up and move. So it was like one of those situations. We had a couple days warning, come in the house, and like, hey, we're moving. Pack your shit. Didn't even know where we were moving. You know, I heard a rumor from one of my siblings, hey, we're moving above a church. I'm like, ha, you're full of shit. We're not moving above a church. Back then, I was extremely atheist. I'm not now. I don't know what's what. Like I said, you know, I pray. I don't know to who, but I pray. But back then, I wasn't doing none of that praying shit. You know, life was chaos. I believed in chaos. Everything that I've ever experienced up to that point was either miserable or chaotic. So I'm like, what type of God would create misery and chaos? Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so we ended up going above a church like it was rumored to be. And living above a church, you would think it would kind of reserve a person, you know, make them kind of tone down a little bit. You don't want to disrespect the Lord. You're not technically in the Lord's house, but you're above the Lord's house. Somehow I think that's worse, you know, because Sunday service, it's Sunday. Maybe you have your Wednesday groups or your Thursday groups, choir practice, you know, men's group, women's group, all that stuff. But Sunday service is Sunday service. And you never want to fucking disrespect the Lord's house on Sunday service. But if you live above a church, every day is fucking Sunday service. It's like you're always there. You're above the house. You're above the house of the Lord. So maybe you should tone down a little bit. Maybe you should stop touching your dick all the time. No, I will not stop doing that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to become more adventurous with my penis. Sorry. You picked a bad time to move above this church because hormones, they don't care where we are. Don't give a fuck. They really couldn't give two shits if it was above a church, above a mosque, whatever the fuck Jewish people pray in, you know. What do they pray in? I don't know. But yeah, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I was fucking touching myself above the church, whatever, fucking, I don't care, judge me. I couldn't do it in the way I wanted to anyway. You know, I didn't have porn tapes. I eventually did get a bunch of them, but before then, I had pictures. I printed off the internet, and I would touch my dick to them above the church. Yeah, goddamn right I did. And then I discovered bootlegs. Does anybody remember the bootleg man? Does the bootleg man still exist? The bootleg industry was big when I was growing up. And it started, of course, you got your bootleg tapes and VHS tapes or cassette tapes. I'm not that old, by the way. If you're watching this and you're like, ha, he's 50. No, I'm not 50 years old, bitch. I'm still technically a millennial. But I also remember what a fucking VHS tape was. Okay? But I didn't have any bootleg VHS tapes. I was too young for that. I had bootleg DVDs. Yeah, not even Blu-rays. Bootleg DVDs. Yeah. And the bootleg industry was big. They walked down the street on Madison. CDs, DVDs. CDs, DVDs. I got that new DMX. You know, all that shit. I never bought anything from them because your transaction was public. You know, people walking up and down the street, they would see what you're purchasing. I never wanted anybody to know what I was purchasing, especially the motherfucker that's out there selling that shit so he can judge me in public and then walk next to his next customer and be like, hey, you want to see what that kid bought? Look at what this fucking little degenerate bought. No, I don't want that. It was too much pressure. Too much pressure. So I found out that the fucking people across the street in the beauty supply store, the Koreans, were Vietnamese, whatever they were some Asian folks. I found out that they were selling bootlegs in the back of their store. And that's when shit got real out of hand. I was like, holy shit. I can get 3 for $10? 3 for $10? Oh shit. I'm about to have all the booty talk videos. Yeah. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm definitely aging myself now. If you didn't have a bootleg booty talk video, if you didn't have a bootleg booty talk video, you were doing it wrong. Like you weren't beating your dick right. Like that was the series to have. I don't remember the other ones, but it was like Booty Talk 1 to Booty Talk like 54 or some shit. And I wanted all of them. I don't even know what it means to have a booty talk. Maybe it's the sound that it makes. Maybe is that a booty talking? Don't know. But, or maybe it's shit, like farting. Like, is that a booty talking? Whatever it was. I had all of them. And I had a PlayStation 2. And I used to just watch PlayStation 2. And my collection of booty talk videos under my mattress above the church. So maybe, now that I'm thinking about it, and we're having this conversation, you and I, because you're so enthralled by what I'm saying. We're having this conversation, so maybe that's why God was like, you son of a bitch. You really think I'm just going to let you unload every night, sometimes twice a night, above my house without consequence? You really think that's going to happen? The next 20 years of your life, you're going to be fucked, sir. Maybe that's what happened. You know, maybe I should have more belief in Christianity because I'm experiencing the result of very high masturbation rate above the house of the Lord. I mean, I also swear above there too. Did a lot of swearing. There was one time, I believe, living above this church where I think things went too far. And by too far, I mean, it had nothing to do with sex. Fucking perverts. I know I talk about sex a lot. If I make you horny, remember, information is in the description of this video. But there was one time in which I would request from my aunt, whatever, the person that was taking care of me, my brother, sister, I would request from her to have company. She would never allow us to have company. She was very uptight in that way. So one day in particular, I asked my aunt, can my friend come over? Because I had just got my PlayStation 2, bought it with my own money. And I had got the wrestling game, I believe it was a SmackDown. It was either the last SmackDown, which is, I believe, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, or it was the first SmackDown versus Raw. So it was one of those games. And me and my best friend, we created our own rosters. And I would save them on the memory card. And for you children, memory cards were what we used to use because games didn't used to have internal storage. You used to have to buy these little hunks of plastic about this big to save your game data. So I had 2 memory cards. I had one with a full male roster, and I had another with a full female roster. And I wanted to share it with my friend because he had a roster as well. And we were going to combine our rosters and call it something. And I'm like super excited to show him what I made. I used to spend hours doing this shit. This is damn near 2 decades ago. And she was like, no, I don't want nobody in my house. You cannot have him in the house. Fuck. There's no other way I could show him my shit. I mean, I don't trust anybody with my memory cards now. You can go losing my shit or steal my shit. You never give it back. But I want to show him. Super excited. I'm like, all right, let's try to dissect what she said. She said she don't want anybody in her house. Okay. What if we just sit in the hallway? Is that considered her house? I'm gonna find out, because that's exactly what I plan to do. To his credit, he had no idea what scheme was going on in my head. To his credit. He was pretty worried about it. He's like, but she said she didn't want nobody in there. You sure this is cool? I'm like, bro, it's fine. She said in the house. We're not in the house. We're going to be in the hallway. So I got 3 folding chairs, 1 for the TV, 2 for us. I pull my TV out, pull the PlayStation out. I get a couple of extension cords, bang, bang. We set up. Get to show them my characters and shit. We sitting in the hallway. And she come in the house. There's a front door, and then there's the hallway, and then there's the door to our apartment. So we're in that little space before you have to go into our apartment. So she comes in. She instantly knows that she's been had, because I've read between the lines, but she's not happy about being had. And I'm also being kind of a smart ass because, you know, we're teenagers, we want to do teenage shit. You said in the house. We not in the fucking house. LL Cool J. Shout out. So she unplugs our shit. Luckily, I had already saved. I anticipated this was going to happen. So as soon as she walked in the house, I'm save. Save this shit. Because she's going to unplug it. Now, above this church, she called me a little bitch. My caretaker called me a bitch. I don't remember what I said to her, but it wasn't nice. And then, of course, he's getting his stuff together. He's leaving in a hurry. And I'm like right behind him. And she has groceries. And I don't think that she even planned on this, but this will live in infamy forever. She just grabbed the first thing she could out of one of those grocery bags. And as I'm down the stairs, exiting the parking lot, she hurls it at my head. Like she was a starting pitcher for the fucking Astros or something. She just hurls it. And it was a can of chunky soup. She just chucked at my skull. And I barely blocked it at the last minute. And that's when I thought that maybe, there is a God. Has to be. Because she easily could have gotten something much more deadly out of that grocery bag to kill me with. I'd be dead. There would be no AGPC. And that was story time. I'm not even sure why I told that story, honestly. And I don't even think that's worse. Her throwing a can of chunky soup at my head from up above at high velocity and me partially blocking it, and, you know, the chaos that ensued after that, and me calling the authorities and them saying, hey, is she your legal guardian? I'm like, yeah, she's my legal guardian. It's like, yeah, nothing we can do. I'm like, hold on here. Hold on. So you're telling me she could basically do attempted murder and there's nothing you can do? She tried to kill me with soup. There's nothing. You can't even come out to talk to be like, hey, what happened? You have to obey the rules of the house. You can't throw cans of soup at your nephew. Like, you're not even going to come talk. They just basically said, free attempted murder. It's all good. What the fuck? But, that happening on church grounds, that's not as bad as much as I watched all those booty talk videos. I can't even say that. So shout out to you, TT. You taught me a valuable lesson that day about boundaries and about fast twitch muscle fibers and being able to block things at the last minute. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That's all I got for today. Bye.